From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Victor Beattie reporting Syrian government forces advance. The Syrian army, backed by Iranian militia and Russian airstrikes, has advanced toward the Turkish border, pushing rebels out of at least two towns north of Aleppo. Russia has been bombarding rebel-held areas for days, causing tens of thousands of civilians to flee to Turkey and camps along the border. U.S. spokesman John Kirby said Monday Washington has been in close contact with Moscow ahead of another international meeting in Munich.
We have talked a lot about this with them, and you heard the Secretary address this very issue on Friday. And that's why he believes this upcoming meeting in Munich is important on Thursday to deal with this exact issue. And he's been very clear that Russian support for the Assad regime is doing nothing but prolonging the conflict, helping attract jihadis and foreign fighters to the effort. Obviously, it's increasing the flow of refugees, and it's harming innocent people.
Turkey's deputy prime minister has warned his country may face another 600,000 Syrian refugees on top of the 2.5 million it's already sheltering. Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoglu said Ankara and Germany may seek greater NATO involvement. Meanwhile, the U.S. has welcomed a Saudi offer to deploy special forces to support a possible coalition ground operation inside Syria. At least 21 people have been killed and dozens more wounded in recent days in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo amid rising ethnic tensions. The violence pits Hutus against other local groups, including ethnic Nande and Nyanga. The UN also reports a massive displacement of civilians and instances of looting, rape, abductions, and arson. Ethnic rivalries and competition for mineral-rich land have stoked persistent conflict among eastern Congo's dozens of rebel groups. This is VOA News. UN investigators have accused Syria of carrying out a massive extermination of detainees among its civilian population, alleging that it amounts to a crime against humanity. Paulo Pinheiro is chairman of the Independent Commission of Inquiry on Syria.
Detainees are subjected to violations on a mass scale in governmental detention centers. Prisoners are routinely tortured and beaten, forced to live in unsanitary and overcrowded cells with little food and no medical care. Many perish in detention.
The UN investigation, based on interviews among hundreds of survivors and witnesses, said the government is holding tens of thousands of detainees and thousands more have simply disappeared. At least 35 migrants drowned in the Aegean Sea Monday trying to reach Greece from Turkey. The Turkish Coast Guard rescued 7. 2 boats sank in separate accidents. The latest fatalities drive the death toll for Mediterranean crossings this year to nearly 400. This Syrian refugee, named Mustafa, was among the fortunate survivors.
Open to people because the people have children and want to peace. And all people want to stop war in Syria because many people in Syria, your house is very finished. Don't have house, don't have money, don't have work. And stop war and open because if the war in Syria is enough, all people, Syrian, we will back to Syria and building Syria.
The International Organization for Migration says more than 75,000 migrants and refugees have arrived by sea in Greece and Italy since New Year's Day. Canada says it's ending its airstrikes against Islamic State targets in Iraq and Syria this month. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announcing Monday he'll bring home Canada's 6 warplanes by February 22nd. Rescuers in Taiwan are using cranes, dogs, and electronic equipment to search for survivors from Saturday's apartment building collapse in Tainan City following a 6.4 magnitude earthquake. The death toll stands at 38. Hundreds have been rescued. More than 100 remain under debris. Engineer Changming Chang says there remain signs of life, so rescuers are being careful. He says some barricades have been removed. The chances of survival diminish as those trapped have no access to food or water. Police say a head-on train crash Tuesday in southern Germany killed at least 8 and injured another 100, about half seriously. The rail company Meridian said 2 of its trains were involved in a serious collision between Kolbermoor and Bad Aibling, about 60 kilometers southeast of Munich. Voters in 3 small towns in New Hampshire cast their votes in the first moments of Tuesday, the first votes in the New England state's presidential primary election. 9 Republicans, 2 Democratic hopefuls looking for delegates and momentum. I'm Victor Beattie, VOA News.
That's the latest world news from VOA.